I feel like a lot of violin, like 90% of it is mental. So, we're doing more of just getting your brain aligned with what's actually happening on the page and then bringing the violin into it. I was taught by my teachers that you sing internally while you're playing. I still find myself doing that to this day. It's really stuck with me, and I teach that for sure. It just develops a sense of intonation and inner understanding. Certain students are super comfortable with singing, and others, maybe won't do it for the first few months, but I'll sing to them at least. I'm really goofy a lot of the time if a student seems receptive to that, and so I just kind of playfully encourage them to sing out and to sing with me. And I think as long as you keep the pressure really low and you're not trying to be perfect with everything, just making an enjoyable musical experience. I think most are really up for it. But then of course, if they have a very firm limit, I'm not going to push it at all. And I do a lot of note reading and rhythm reading, and with rhythm, sometimes that really resonates with certain students. I think it's like integrating, especially when I do lots of rhythm things, reading a new language, plus some math involved, plus like this internal, musical thing that a lot of people just inherently have, but it needs to be developed. It can't just sit there without like some context. I have been teaching for 7th Street for about 6 months at this point. I was teaching a little group class for 1.5-year-olds, some music and movement classes, and I've been teaching piano and violin. So I like to try and get to know their goals for their lessons and what they're trying to get out of learning the violin or viola or piano. And usually we'll try and learn some of their favorite songs and make that a goal of theirs and just see what they're trying to get out of it and really focus on that. One was a 13 or 14-year-old beginner, but she's really determined and she is just accelerating and got an award for her music accomplishments already at school. And she also has started to play with some of her friends, and I think just having it be something that's really fun and something she's really curious about and just wants to learn as much as she can as quickly as she can. She plays softball really seriously too, and I think she knows that things take commitment. Every time she fixes something, she can recognize right away what she did to make it happen and, try and integrate that as quickly as possible rather than like sticking with old habits. She's really willing to make changes. We've started using a book called Orchestral Expressions. It gives a lot of history and a lot of context to what you're learning. It'll be like a little excerpt from a Dvorak symphony or something, that's classical. We all know it as classical musicians, but if you have no background in classical music, it's a really great book to introduce you to all different composers and concepts behind orchestra playing. So she just took it head on and has really made it a part of her life very quickly. I definitely am all about spreading the good word, I like to say. So I used to do tons of these group muse concerts where it's like chamber music concerts in people's homes who don't necessarily have much background with classical music, and just being able to share my knowledge and my skill with them is just like, it makes it all feel like it's not just this like internal solo pursuit. I feel like it's my actual contribution to the world when I teach. Like, it's really fun. No, I think teaching for me is really important. Like, I've had the privilege of having some really amazing teachers, so I get to share their knowledge that's from like these really huge pedagogues in, the olden days. So like, I feel like a part of this bigger thing.